After 3 long years of the world being on fire, the fine folk at Reed Pop and Penny Arcade decided they would bring PAX Australia back to the people, and 2022 was the year for it. Gamers, cosplayers, dice rollers and more returned in masses to the front door of the biggest celebration of gaming in the Southern Hemisphere. With almost 500 events separated across the 3-day expo, exhibitors galore with goodies aplenty, and an indie section that spans the entire width of the main hall, it was set to be the best PAX Australia yet, or so it would seem.
Welcome to Kochiefy, my name is Kochie, and this is PAX Australia 2022.
Now, it's a little bit weird to review a pop culture expo in its entirety, as I usually focus on specific games, but here we are. PAX Australia has been running for 9 years, with 8 in-person shows since 2013 and a PAX Aus online event in 2021. The yearly convention has everything from the latest AAA games, tabletop areas, cosplay competitions, community meetups, tech leaders showing off, and a vast array of panels from industry leaders, and a whole section dedicated to independently developed games, some of which are even developed right here in Australia. A welcome surprise before the expo even started was the Victorian Government announcing on the show floor that they're injecting a games industry funding package of more than $5 million. This was all in an effort to see the game development sector thrive in Melbourne, which was really great to see and a great way to start the expo. The 3-day convention took place from the 7th to the 9th of October, and the unwashed masses flocked to Melbourne Convention Exhibition Centre, some of them lining up for hours just to be the first in the door to the first major games convention in 3 long years. The tension was palpable. The media gathered ready to take their first look at the never-ending influx of people to the show floor, and the crowd counted down until the final moments. You might be wondering, yeah, that's great and all, but how was PAX Australia? Did all that waiting lead up to an eye-popping experience that defined my life going forward? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. For me personally, no, but you should still go. Wait, what? After walking around the expo hall and getting a lay of the land, the first thing to note is just how big the expo hall is and how much it was filled to the brim with all manner of pop culture exhibits. There are a great variety of things to enjoy and plenty of bright, shiny tech to touch. But after a while, you noticed something missing. As you walked around, you could feel the absence that was left by the big industry players of Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo not showing up this year. Even big companies like Activision Blizzard and Ubisoft failed to make an appearance, making the experience for the avid gaming fan leaving a little to be desired. When your big players of an expo are Square Enix with a Final Fantasy trial fight, which stayed at peak capacity for the whole show, and the latest offering from Sega in the form of Sonic Frontiers, you know something is missing. Walking around and seeing the longest lines on the convention floor be for the merch booth instead of a gaming booth left something to be desired. But the absence of AAA left the gaming masses wanting, so this is where other parts of the expo started to shine brighter than they have in previous years. One area in particular seemed to be more packed than a peak hour train car was that of the independent gaming section. People flocked to the PAX Rising Indie section ready to check out what new experiences awaited them and actually play some goddamn video games. With roughly 60 independently developed games on display, you could spend all 3 days doing nothing but playing these games and having a wonderful time doing it. Everything from couch party games and new top-down adventures to exploring dungeons and managing a restaurant as a cute waifu, there really was something for everyone to enjoy here. People were here to get together and play whatever they could get their hands on as soon as possible, and with this area it really showed. I love these experiences because you actually get to talk to the people who are currently working on the game right there at the expo. I had the opportunity to talk to a few different teams who were showcasing their games at PAX. Thankfully, I don't have 60 interviews to go through, but I have picked 3 games to showcase. First was from a team called A Few Dragons who are currently working on an upcoming game called the Sacred Acorn. The game is about a cute squirrel exploring the world around them in a 2D Metroidvania action-adventure style. Here's a clip.
So our game, The Sacred Acorn, is a deceptively cute Metroidvania-inspired action-adventure with lots of challenging combat, puzzles, secrets to uncover, and adorable companions. We did say deceptively cute. It's because it's a really adorable game, but particularly once you get into the boss battles, the combat can be quite challenging, and it's designed like that to be easy to play, hard to master. So at the moment, it's still in development. We're hoping for a early 2024 release, but it is wishlistable on Steam, and if you weren't able to get to PAX, we do have a demo available on Steam as well.
Now, the demo I played featured 3 boss fights that I got to learn on the fly, and they became more challenging as I progressed. Each had a specific theme and unique mechanics to learn as you go, which kept things fresh. The world was interesting to explore, and the controls were quick and easy to pick up. The combination of ranged and melee attacks here also allowed you to approach fights in different ways. As the dev said, the game is deceptively cute, and even from the demo I could see the amount of work that had gone into making this experience new and exciting for players. And look at this little squirrel character. How could you not fall in love with him? He's so cute, and oh my god, is that tree farting purple? It was great to be able to ask the devs directly about the story behind the development of the Sacred Acorn, how the world was designed, and even provide specific feedback on things like dodge timings and resource management. The amount of positive and constructive feedback they received over the PAX Aus weekend alone has been overwhelmingly helpful, and I'm sure it will shape their future builds of the game leading up to release. Another game I was able to talk to the developers about was called Cuisineer by BattleBrew Productions. The only thing you need to know here is you get to smack a bunch of chickens with a giant frying pan, take their loot, and then turn it into all manner of tasty food for your restaurant. There's also waifus. Here's the BattleBrew Productions co-founder to tell you more about it.
Cuisineer is a dungeon crawler with a restaurant. Basically, you go into the dungeons, get ingredients, fight monsters, come back up, run your restaurant, get money, get reputation, stuff unlocks, rinse, repeat. You play as Pom, who's a cute cat girl. You've just inherited the restaurant from your parents, and you unfortunately also find out you've just inherited its debt. So you do have some money to pay back. It's a familiar trope, but I think it's one that's approachable and understandable, especially in this day and age. But yeah, I mean, that's I think the darkest thing about this game. The rest is all like cute, fluffy, and tasty. So I think we just followed our hearts and stomachs, and this is basically how we came up with Cuisineer right here.
Now this is a game I can see myself falling into an endless loop in very quickly. You upgrade your gear, grind in the dungeons, store your materials, run your restaurant, hopefully get some sleep, and then do it all over again for just one more day. The graphics are polished with a really cute art style, and the world is detailed enough that it encourages you to explore, even in its pre-release state. One highlight of my playtest here with Cuisineer is that the dungeons are procedurally generated, which makes each day feel refreshing to play, and you get to slap chooks with a giant fucking frying pan. The combat mechanics are tight with multiple cooldowns to manage, combo attacks, and super moves that really kept me engaged throughout my time with the game. The enemies that you're farming are even themed. For example, the chili enemies breathe fire as their attack. It's genius. The moment-to-moment gameplay does end eventually though, and after coming home it's time to open up your restaurant and balance your time between getting orders, cooking the food at the right station, and then collecting the bill at the end in a waifu of all trades style song and dance. All of this is so you can pay off your inherited debt, which leaves you always grinding for another day. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one develops over the next year or so. Lastly, for a uniquely Aussie experience, we have Repella Fella by Misadventourous and Two Left Thumbs. A choose-your-own-adventure style that embraces Australian culture so much that it should come with a VB stubby, a mini ute, and a pair of thongs with each copy. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic Australia and tells the story of 3 main characters working towards a better life with plenty of hilarious hijinks along the way. How they reach that life is completely up to you. Shoot, stab, lie and maim your way through any problem that presents itself. This game had me laughing more times than I could count with its unabashed sense of humor and sheer ridiculousness in the first 20 minutes. Even after my legs started to fall off and I melted into a pile of goo on the Sunday afternoon, I wanted to play more of this game. I had a beer with a homeless guy, cut off a boar's head to get into escape pod, and then took down some military figures Sam Fisher style all in the same demo. While the premise seems simple and the controls consist mostly of moving around a 2D area and clicking on everything in sight, it draws you in with puzzles to solve, deeper stories, and really cool characters. It's unapologetic with the way that it approaches its world, and you can tell that this is an experience that could only be created by an independent games company. It's the only way this thing got released. The devs have advised that the entirety of the 6+ hours of gameplay is fully voiced by no less than 75 voice actors, and the choices really do matter as there are multiple endings to experience. The demo is out now on Steam at the moment, and I highly recommend you check it out. I'll put Steam links to all these awesome games down in the doobly-doo, so chuck them all on your wishlist as soon as possible so you're notified when they're releasing. It will also help the developers know that you're excited as I am for these games to come out. Thanks to the devs for letting me talk their ears off during the craziness that is this expo, and I hope that your legs are well rested. Speaking of doing things, remember to subscribe to Kochiefy for more reviews and other content. I'm super keen to see what happens when these games release, and I should be reviewing them when that happens. Getting back to the rest of the expo, there comes a point when your legs start to hurt because you didn't buy the right shoes and it's time to sit down. Luckily, PAX Australia has you covered with a bunch of panels from industry leaders, enthusiast groups and niche communities which all have a comfy seat to rest on. After checking through the schedule, there are a few that jumped out at me, so I decided to check them out. All of these ran like a panel-style podcast with small groups of people offering advice for creators who used to be where we are now. The first one was about working with companies and brands as a content creator, and it was really great to hear funny stories from people who used to work for free gear who then attempted to shift into paid work afterwards. I'd learned about knowing my worth as a content creator without all that positive affirmation shit about how we're all going to make it, and it was really great to see. I also learned there's a severe lack of talent and creator managers out there, especially in Australia, so if you're looking to work in the industry but don't want to make videos or stream, maybe managing people that do could be the right fit for you. It definitely piqued my interest. I also checked out other panels about the difficulties of being a freelance journalist, and you can see the theme I'm pursuing here. I learned a lot about these panels, and it was a really great feature of the expo that was all self-nominated by members of the community. People that are excited to share their stories and advice with as many people as possible made those experiences that much better. Also, if you missed any of the panels, they are up on the PAX Twitch channels as they're all streamed simultaneously as well. One note here is I'd love to see these streams cut up into different videos and uploaded on their YouTube channel so that we could easily revisit panels that we missed or re-watch our favorite ones. Now, I'm not much of a dice roller or tabletop board gamer as of late, but even I could see just how much that element of the expo had improved. From the booths to the expanded play areas, there have been a lot of improvements here, and even so, it was difficult to even find a table to sit down and actually play something. From learning how to play a new board game with strangers and indie board games releasing, to fully committed D&D sessions with costume dungeon masters and collectible boxes of card openings aplenty, there really was something for everybody. There really isn't enough time, even in a 3-day convention, to do everything, and for these people to have a section dedicated to something they love to do all weekend was awesome to see. One thing I wish I had more time to check out was the speedrunning stage in the secondary hall. In an event similar to AGDQ, speedrunners from around the Oceanic region arrived at PAX Aus, probably faster than most, to show off their prowess at their favourite games and provide colour commentary. It was a great place to chill out and see how fast some of our favourite games could be completed with all manner of tricks and glitches. I'll have to save that one for next year's expo and see how quickly they can beat the OG Pokemon or something. And this was the one thing that stuck with me after I left the expo. It'll all be back next year. I had thoughts of, oh, I missed this thing, or maybe I should have done this a little bit more, but that's okay because there's always PAX Australia 2023, which will be here in no time. I'm also super pleased that I could finally catch up with my content community, Team OCE, link in the description, you should join us, for a meetup. We had about 50 of our community rock up and catch up after 3 years to eat lollies, get some merch, and swap content creation stories. We even got a couple of great photos. Look at that awesome bunch of people. What a bunch of cuties. Now, it really was a highlight for the weekend from me, and while PAX Australia is great every year, it really is about the people. Seeing everyone come to one place after so many chats on Discord, I was blown away with our community's response, and of course we all went drinking, because of course you do. While the AAA gaming sector was missing, and other companies like Bethesda instead putting their money into outside events instead of a specific booth on the show floor, it allowed other areas of PAX Australia to shine brighter than they have in previous years, and I'm very grateful for that change in experience. PAX Australia really is an event for the people, and with a slogan like Welcome Home, it's hard to ignore the sheer diversity of things on display here to welcome as many people as possible. There aren't many places that I can confidently walk around with these glasses on and not get weird looks. I know I'm going to need more of these next year. If you haven't checked out PAX Australia, then save up your schmeckles and give it a go next year. Get some friends, rent a hotel, and make it an awesome weekend that you won't forget. It's not just about the expo, but it's about the friends that you make while you're there and even the ones that you bring along. It's the community that makes every single weekend I go an amazing experience, and I can't recommend it enough. Thanks for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed PAX Australia if you did go. Remember to check out all of the things down below, all the games I've linked, all the content creators, and give it a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I have some new uniquely opinionated content coming soon, which I can't wait to show you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Till next time, Kochie, out.
Lighting, please. Let there be light. Like, you know, and then the light. Yeah.